I love the rush. I love the adrenaline. I love the pressure, the craziness. We did like 800 covers a night in this restaurant that I worked. It was insane. And some days I worked like from 6 a.m. till 1 a.m. I mean, it was amazing experience. Chaos, total chaos. So hard to do. Like I wouldn't do it right now when I'm 43.
Right.
I don't think I want to do that at
No.
43. But at the time it was great.
So, hey, welcome to the mobile podcast trailer. My name's Jesse, and today I am joined by my good friend Yvonne. Now, earlier we were talking about if is it Ivan or Yvonne. I'm going with Yvonne, and he can't let me say otherwise. So, um, Yvonne and his wife Maria are the owners of Fàme Cafe in Central Phoenix, one of my favorite restaurants of all time. And I thought for the very first real podcast, um, for the mobile podcast trailer, Yvonne would be a great person to host and ask questions and dive deep because secretly, I think I want to own a restaurant someday, and he's probably going to tell me not to do it. But um, he's always been, both he and his wife are amazing people. I've always valued the relationship that I have with them immensely. And uh, when I started thinking of this podcast, uh, he was one of the first people I thought of. And then on Thursday is the second person I thought of. So that's to come. But Yvonne, welcome to the
Thank you.
podcast. I know that it's weird because you don't listen to podcasts and
Never done a
and you've never done a podcast.
shake hands. I don't know if you shake hands on podcast or not. But thank you.
So, what I'll do is I sent Yvonne over a list of questions that I had for him. And so he has a little bit of pre-warned knowledge of the questions. And I'll just start out with this because I think it's really fascinating. One, taking the risk to open a restaurant, the success rate of restaurants lasting a year or 2 years or 10 years is really low. So like, where did the desire to open Fame come from?
This will take the whole podcast, this question, I'm pretty sure.
Which is fine. Which is fine.
I think I mean, everything at Fame, it's a combination of two things. Uh, my wife's story and my story, because we're in this together. So earlier, even though she's not here, I talked to her about the podcast, and I asked her like, what was your drive? And her straight question is, I grew up in this. I grew up in the hospitality industry, so for her, it's normal. For me, I think I didn't grow up in the hospitality industry. I know my dad at one point collaborate or had a partner and they had a restaurant, but I don't have a lot of memories of that. So my dad was an accountant slash musician. Um, but us as a couple, we love food. We always love food, and I think that's how what connect us. Um, Food, going out for dinners or dates was always about where do we go to eat? Where do we go to eat? And then that's it. Like, cause she doesn't drink. I'm not. I mean, I drink, but I'm not like
You're not
uh,
allowed.
uh, uh, say it that way. Um, so our whole date was, what do we eat? Where do we go? And later on, like in my career, I got interested about restaurants and cooking and the whole culinary world. And we said, why don't we just go and go to culinary school? Let's do it together. And then after that, let's work and let's open a restaurant. So that started 15 years ago, I want to say. And actually, the idea came in 2007. Yeah, 2007. And we graduated from culinary school, which I went to CIA in New York. And see, I told you that was going to take the whole podcast.
That's okay. It's
And,
all right.
and it's the story.
This is what we want.
Well, CIA was from 2009 to 2011.
Okay.
We both went to CIA, but then my wife decided that CIA was not for her, so she went to French Culinary Institute in New York City.
Okay.
And so she was in the city, I was in Poughkeepsie, and with the mentality of, okay, we're gonna graduate and then we're gonna open a restaurant somewhere in the world. We don't know even where.
You didn't know where.
No idea. Because in 2007, I said it all started in 2007 because we moved to Italy to go. We wanted to go to a school in Italy and just specialize in Italian cuisine. And in order to do that, you need to speak the language. So we went to Verona, specifically Peschiera del Garda, which is a town in the lake, and we got into school and study Italian. But then she got sick, she got pneumonia, so she had to come back, and we came. But obviously, our plans went down, and
Okay.
because we wanted to stay close to the family, and so we moved back to the States, and then we found CIA. CIA looked like the perfect option to study culinary arts, and we did it. And I mean, honestly, I fall in love with the craft. Um, I want to say in my first job at the city,
Mm-hmm.
I fall in love with it. I love the rush. I love the adrenaline. I love the pressure, the craziness. We did like 800 covers a night in this restaurant that I worked. It was insane. And some days I worked like from 6 a.m. till 1 a.m. I mean, it was amazing experience. Chaos, total chaos. So hard to do. Like I wouldn't do it right now when I'm 43.
Right.
I don't think I want to do that at 43. But at the time it was great. Um, so yeah, I mean, I think the passion for me, it grew as I start learning and experiencing this world.
Right.
For her, it was just more natural. She's like, yeah, let's open a restaurant. That's easy.
So it was easy for her to just kind of go, yeah, take the risk. This is what we do. Or did the, well, actually, we should probably go with how then did you, of all the places in the world, why Arizona?
That's an easy one. My mother-in-law moved here,
Okay.
and we just wanted to be close to her. So that's an easy one.
And how long have you guys been married?
Since 2009.
Okay.
So that makes it
It's almost 17 years.
17 years. Almost. Yeah. We'll make
Yeah.
a party when we turn 20.
So my wife and I got married in January of 2009. So we got
okay.
married the same
So
year.
we got married on the 24th of December. No, 23rd of December, sorry.
So almost
So-
2010.
Almost 2010, yes. Correct.
So we were at the beginning.
So we're turning 17 now.
Yeah. Oh, you're turning 17 now.
Right.
So you got married in 08. We won't do math.
No, we
Let's
won't
not
do
work.
math.
Let's not
But
work.
no, let's do math because 2009, so 19, right? Plus 6. No, I'm turning 16. Yeah, no, I need to do math because then my wife will tell me like, what's going on? You don't know when you got married. You don't know how many years we've been married. No, 16. So we turned 16.
Yeah.
This year. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So your anniversary is coming up in
Yes.
just
It's
a few days.
Yeah. It's always like Christmas.
Yeah.
So my present needs to be very big
Yeah.
because it's
That's
wedding
special. That's
anniversary
special, yeah.
and then Christmas 2 days after. So
We didn't think that one through.
Oh,
did we?
not at all.
Because for us, the reason why we got married when we did is because all of our friends were going to be in town anyways for Christmas.
Okay.
Because, we grew up here, and so all of our friends, like a lot of them dispersed to different states,
Mhm.
but they were still at the time coming back for the holidays to visit their parents. And we were
Okay.
like, everybody's going to be here. We're going to maximize the amount of attendance if we do it, in January when everybody's still here.
That's smart. You had a good party.
We did have a
Yeah.
good party. We had a lot of fun. But so it was easy for Maria to just be like, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
Was there any reservation for you at all in it? Or was it just like, no, I love it too much. Let's just go for it.
No, I think for me, I like to plan things a little bit more. And when I say plan, I'm very detail oriented and I want perfectionist too. So I want everything in place at the right time.
Mm-hmm.
She taught me that that doesn't happen.
No.
It doesn't ever happen. And you just have to go and do it. That's what we did. But it took a little bit of planning for sure. I'm glad we planned. And I'm glad that you had a question and that says how how did you make it successful? Like
Mhm.
how you been here for 10 years,
Yeah. So
basically.
it's actually the second question. So let's just go to it. How did you know you could build a successful restaurant?
So you don't know. But you prepare. So I think going to school was one. Not that everybody needs to go to school, but in my case, maybe my wife didn't need to go to school.
Right.
Because she was way more familiar with the field than I was at the time. But going to school opened a lot of doors, gives you a lot of knowledge, and then just fully immerse in that field, right?
Right.
So that's one. I think just prepare. Uh, Two, get experience. So work a lot.
Now, do you think
And
that it's important for a person that had never worked in a restaurant to have experience
absolutely,
in if they were interested in owning one, is it
100%.
absolute necessity to
Absolutely necessary to at least. So in CIA you needed to have some experience before before getting accepted
Mhm.
into school. And just because of that question that you just asked, you need to experience it a little bit
Well,
just to be sure
it's not
that
just the love of food that is gonna get you through it
no,
because it's like the chaos
it,
of a restaurant
it's too
is different.
it's first of all it's very hard to be successful in this field. Two, there's a lot of stress, and physically, it requires a lot from you. So if you are not passionate enough and you don't want it enough, it's like going in the medical field. I mean,
Mhm.
I don't compare myself to a doctor, but
I would.
um,
I would.
wow, I have a lot of doctor friends, and
His food's like
they're way smarter than me, and
his food's like
and
medicine.
well, thank you. You're a cool guy. Um, But if you are going to be a doctor, you have to be sure about that. It's 10 years plus of going to
Right.
school. It's a lot of sacrificing. You sacrifice a lot. So for like people don't know, but for the first 3 years of Fame, we first of all we didn't like take a vacation. We didn't rest any single day. We were working 365
Yep.
day and night. Um, I was working the line. My wife was in the front of the house. We were constantly turning over, or having turnover, constantly training people, constantly hiring people, firing people.
Right.
The first years are really, really hard. So if you don't have the passion for what you do, and you are not expecting any success, because if you expect success right away, you might fail because you won't get it.
Right.
It takes time for it to be successful, and it took us like good 3 years for it to be a successful restaurant. Like when you're seeing the numbers, you're like, okay, I'm finally seeing.
Well, what is, like everybody, uh, I'm sure you pay maybe a little bit of attention to social media, but everybody out there is like, I'm making $35 million a month, or, this is how I made, $3 million this year by my course. And you're like, really? Are you like, if I was making 3 million a year, um, I'm pretty sure I wouldn't be developing a course to sell for $5.99,
Mhm.
and I wouldn't be I would be enjoying my time with my kids.
Mhm.
Um, so, like, what is success as far as, like, what's your if you're willing to share, like, what's your run rate? Like, your average month, like, what are you spending in, um, goods? What are you spending on, um, uh payroll, and then, like, what is a good take home for a restaurant, or you know y- whatever you're willing to share
Mhm.
would be cool. But like, a lot of people don't really realize, like, that a successful restaurant is right around, I think, 4%. um
Well, the margins are very small.
right.
But I wanna say, 10%, 15%, it's a good margin for a
Mm,
restaurant based on their sales, obviously.
right.
Um, what you your cost for food, it depends on your quality.
Right.
Some restaurants have very good quality and have a very high, food percentage, and some restaurants have, um an expensive menu. Usually, you see very high quality with expensive menu. So if you go to a Michelin star restaurant, or they usually have the best ingredients they can possibly get, and their food cost is high up there, probably more than 30%.
Right.
For us, we're between 25 and 30% because we use good ingredients. So, um, I mean, our margins are good, but not what breakfast used to be. Because people always associate like breakfast. It's a good business because low food cost, and so then higher margins.
Right.
It's not the case anymore, especially if you have
If it
good food.
fails.
Like I mean, eggs went crazy. Eggs were It was absolutely insane. At
Right.
one point, I think we pay, I don't know, $150 for a 15 dozen case. Now it's back to 40. But when we started 10 years ago, it was like $15.
Right.
So yeah, when we started, it was great, but then everything got really expensive. So now we're just like a normal restaurant. Um, so yeah, I guess it depends on what concept do you have of restaurant. I know dinner restaurants, they pay more in payroll. Depends how big you are. I mean,
Right.
there's a lot, but yeah, the margins are usually like a 10%. It's a successful restaurant. We obviously everybody measures success differently, but when it's a business, if you have great numbers and you're making a profit and your margins are where they need to be within the industry, then you're successful. For us, like I said, it took like I want to say like good 3 years. Before that, we're either breaking even or first year it's crazy. First year doesn't count. You lose money. You lose money for sure. Um, uh, yeah, I mean, going back to what made it successful, I said, obviously hard work, getting prepared to it, and also a good support, a good family support,
Mm-hmm.
uh, people that believe in you. That's a key part because you can't do it by yourself, right? I
Right.
mean, if you come home and your family is like, "What are you doing? You're crazy,
Right.
you idiot."
Right.
Then most likely you're gonna fail,
Right.
or well, maybe not. Who knows? But having a good support system, just like when you have a kid and you have a good support system, it makes things easier. Have a
Yep.
good community support at home. I think that's a key part of it too. I just went back to the question, but I guess that's the
No, that's
podcast. I guess that's
that
how you
that's
that's
way.
how you do things,
Well,
right?
and this
I
and
hope
this
so.
kind of leads to the other part of the question. I'm gonna group these two together. Like, what made you focus on breakfast and lunch? And I'm gonna rope this into with it, like, farm to table.
Mhm.
So, like, how and why did you choose breakfast, lunch, and which I think is a great thing because I love breakfast. Um, I'll eat it any time of the day. I'm just mad that you guys aren't open later. You could serve it all day and I'd be happy with it. But what made you go with breakfast, lunch? Why farm to table? And also like sourcing
Mhm.
the goods from, you know, good operations like
Mhm.
McClendon and stuff like that.
So I'll start with your last question because then that'll lead to the first one. Um, Sourcing is when we arrived, when we decided that we were gonna open a restaurant here. We're in San Diego at the time, and I was working at a Addison at Grand Del Mar in San Diego, which now they have 3 Michelin stars. Great restaurant and run by amazing chefs and super cool place. Um, I learned a lot about sourcing in the different restaurants that I worked and how you go to the farmers market and you look who's selling at the farmers market. That's a great way to see who's out there.
Right.
Especially if you do farm to table. And the concept is sometimes misunderstood, but farm to table is literally you have direct contact with the farmer. So the
Right.
person that is selling me the cheese, I've been to his farm. I know him by first name, and we have a relationship, basically. And you just don't place your order online or over the
Right.
phone.
You have a
So
personal
you do.
first name relationship with the
Absolutely.
person that you're sourcing from.
And you understand what they're doing, how they're doing it, how hard it is to do, why it cost what it cost. So that's really the farm to table concept,
Right.
and at least in our minds. Um, so we went to farmers markets. We went to the restaurants that we like and that we think are high quality, well run, usually mom and pop own or the one owner
Right.
businesses, and with the same characteristics and interests that we have. So we knock on the door and look at their menu and ask like, where do you get this from? This is tastes amazing. Like, where is this from? Okay, I see. Novel Bread showed up at one point, and we went and knocked Jason's door, and it's like, hey, so what do you do?
Yeah.
Can we buy it from you?
Yeah.
And like the latest we had is a guy named Don in Tucson that you're probably familiar with because he just won a James Beard Award. It's an amazing bread maker, and we also this year we're like, we like your bread. I think it will go well with our concept.
Yeah.
Do you mind coming here and we'll talk about it? So now we're using that bread too. So we like to source from a lot of them because every person has one item that it's amazing.
Right.
We
Their
recently their specialty. We recently talked to Duncan Farms, for example. We haven't talked in 10 years. We use different farms in McClinton and Blue Sky Farms and other farms, and we recently talked to Duncan because we saw they have good lettuce and good microgreens, and now we have a relationship. So how do you look? Um, yeah, farmers market, different restaurants, talk to other chefs, and they're out there. You know, they're out there. If you look, you'll find.
Yeah.
So that's how we find and source our meats. For example, our meat. One of our main vendors for produce started working with this Chicago family, and they have a farm called Linz, and their meat is amazing. I mean, you'll see it everywhere here. Good quality meat, and that's what we have at the restaurant. So we have a relationship. Like our burgers comes from Linz, and now our steak, we have a steak and egg special, and now steak at in
Was
the
that the
menu,
steak that
which
I
is what we have. We had chilaquiles with steak.
Yep.
Were they good? You like
Uh,
him? Good.
come on now. Was your food good?
Okay,
It was amazing. I had zero intent to have lunch, and he was like,
yeah, I was
"I'm
hungry.
eating.
Sorry.
I'm eating," and I saw his food, and I was starving too. I'll usually just not eat.
Oh, true.
Because
You mentioned yes,
I'll
but
just
that's hard to resist.
I'll just hold out usually. But
It's because you saw my plate.
I saw
Plate
his
looked
food,
good.
and it was so good. It was
Plate looked good.
even though I had chips, and that's kind of outside of my scope of diet right now during the week.
Gluten free. They're
It
corn
was
chips.
it was delightful. And your sauce that you
How do
had,
you like?
you guys are developing Are you like making it and bottling it in the restaurant, or is it
So, the hot sauce.
the hot sauce?
Yes, we do everything
Which
at the restaurant.
he gave me hot sauce last week, and I'm almost out of it.
The goal is to be like Tabasco, so
Mhm.
then we can be at the beach just sipping margaritas and not do anything else and retire soon. No, it's a good hot sauce. We when we started, we had a lot of requests for a hot sauce always because our food is like we talked
So
about
good.
when we were having our lunch. It's mild. It's not too hot, and a lot of people like hot food. But I can't make hot food, and then for the ones that don't need a lot of
My wife loves the restaurant, and if she had hot food, she would be like, "I don't love the restaurant."
there you go.
So
Exactly. So that's me. I'm like your wife. I don't like a lot of spice in my
also, by the way, she's the planner.
Okay.
So
There you go.
so there's that. I'm like Maria. I'm like, just yeah, let's go with it.
Okay.
We're just the free spirit.
Okay. Well, yeah. So we're the opposite.
Yeah.
But it's all good. Um, so we had Cholula on the tables
Mm-hmm.
for a while, for a long time. I want to say 4 years or so, and the Cholula went down fast. So we're like, I don't like
The quality.
no. Oh no, no. People use that a lot.
Oh, yeah.
They- empty bottles. All
If you've ever met
empty
Cholula,
bottles.
she
Yes.
disappears quickly.
Oh, she's so we're like, okay, let's do a hot sauce. Why not? Let's have our own brand and let's make it in house and just have clean ingredients.
Yeah.
No additives, no nothing weird. I mean, we're gonna just use it right away for the tables.
Right.
It became a great success, so now we sell it and package it.
There
Yeah.
you go.
Yeah.
Online
But
store.
yeah, one of these days. Well, we'll have to see. We have to
You have
work
to.
on social media.
Yeah.
But it's baby steps. I think you don't want to. Part of being successful is don't get too ahead. I guess don't do too much. Focus in one thing.
Right.
And
Well,
then,
that's been kind of my struggle with almost anything
Mhm.
that I have ideas for is, like when we first got married, I got really into sewing, and I was making these satchels, and then um I made a diaper bag for my wife, and um I always got too ahead of myself
Mhm.
thinking that I needed to have like the end result in mind
Mhm.
rather than the right here and right now scenario. So like thinking of it in iterations rather than thinking of it as the end result. Like if we, we all use iPhones, right? Like if they would have put out, this iPhone first, and they've been like, "Oh, we've been working on this for the last 20 years, and we've got it figured out now," th- nobody would be on it because everybody else has been using the other devices that have come out and have had iterations. And so it's like this concept here that we're sitting in was, like I had to go, okay, what's the bare minimum that I need to get? I need to get it looking cool. I need to get somewhat comfy chairs. Will the chairs change? Yes. Will the table change? Yes. But like ultimately, I needed certain things to get things going. But then as time goes on, it's like, okay, now we can add this. Like eventually, we talked about it earlier, but like live streaming.
Mhm.
I would love to be able to live stream. Well, I need Starlink
Mhm.
for that. And, Starlink is $500. And in the grand scheme of things, not that expensive,
Mhm.
but it's $500 and $50 a month
Mhm.
to run. And right now, in this iteration right now, I think it could be a in the future kind of thing.
I don't know if you remember, but when we opened, we didn't have signs.
Yeah.
So we run out of money to purchase signs because they're expensive. I mean,
Right.
each sign was like, I don't know, $4,000
Right.
or whatever it was at the time. But we're like, are we going to open and not have signs? Hell yeah.
Yeah.
We're ready. Like,
Right. Yeah. You
we have a kitchen. So just
gotta open up.
just spray it on the wall, whatever it is. So I think we had like literally a paper or some sort of something out
Yeah.
there that said open, and that was it, and people started coming in. Then a month after, then we could afford signs, so we put signs,
Yeah.
and so on. So yeah, you don't have to have everything.
Yeah.
You just have to start.
It
Yeah.
that and that's kind of the the crux of this trailer and kind of what my mission in this is like we just have to start.
Mm-hmm.
And talking business is something that I really like to do. And I like helping businesses figure out social media.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and not everybody has it in their budget to go, hey, Jesse, I'll hire you to be our social media guy. So I figured it would be really cool to have an opportunity where I just sit down with friends and or maybe not friends, maybe just people that I just met and just go, how can I help you figure out this social media game? And then I just turn it over to you to follow through with it because a lot of people, they know that they need to do it. Just the same as like if you want a restaurant, you got to have food. But do you need signs? No, you don't need signs. Not right away. It would be good to have. It's a nice to have, but it's not an absolute necessity. And that's kind of where like social media kind of comes in. If you have a service or you provide a product that is worthwhile, then that will speak for itself. And then social media can be the thing that's added on top. It doesn't need to be the front and center, which I think a lot of social media people will tell you the opposite. They're like, oh no, social media is the only thing that's going to drive your revenue. And it's like, no, because we talked about this last week when we were hanging out. Like, you run an ad or you get an article in a magazine or a newspaper, and you have this influx of people, and you're like, are those really our people?
Mm-hmm.
Or are they just the ones that are coming for today and we'll never see them again? And it's like, I one of the reasons why I like downtown Phoenix is this like small community feel. Like we all know each other, we all appreciate what each of us do, um, and we're valued in all the different ways that we provide, right? And so there's this connection that I want to establish with business owners like, hey, social media is a good thing to utilize, but like we don't have to be stuck on it all of the time. And how many views did I get? How like we talked about going viral last week.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll talk about that in a little bit, but like we don't need it. We just need to reach some people that are going to enjoy
Mm-hmm.
what we do. Whether it, like I can't service everybody, but if I have some good conversations that are helpful, then, and that reaches more people, that's cool.
Right, because your goal is to have, you said it, a good conversation.
Right.
So if you're having a good conversation, then that's it. You're successful.
Right.
If it reaches everybody and you become super viral, good for the business, but that's not the main goal.
Yeah.
I think a good quality conversation is your goal, which I kind of like that.
Yeah. And like that's been, so when we first, like I'll say it this way. I felt that we were called to live in downtown Phoenix.
Mm-hmm.
So we were helping a church in Levine, in the early parts of our marriage for the first 4 years. And that didn't end well. And so um, we ended up selling our house in Levine and feeling really called to be in downtown Phoenix. But we couldn't afford to come up here. I was unemployed and I wasn't in a position where, you know, I wasn't self-employed yet. I was unemployed.
The opposite.
Yeah, I was the opposite. I was not thinking in I wasn't thinking in successful ways. I was thinking of like scarcity. And so we ended up moving to Ahwatukee for 2 years. And then finally we got an opportunity to buy in Central Phoenix, and we did. But the whole time, I felt called to help the revitalization of Phoenix.
Mhm.
Now, w what I thought that meant at the time was come here and flip houses,
Mhm.
and we've only flipped one, and I didn't really like it. Um, I like construction, I like building, and I like doing things with my hands, but, um, buying and selling houses and making them better just didn't feel like that wasn't the way to do it. And through a lot of different, situations, this is what I think is the culmination of it. And we've lived in, downtown Phoenix since 2015, so
Mhm.
10 years.
Mhm.
Um, and it's finally coming to pass where I'm like, I think that this is the tool that's going to connect me to lots of business owners and help, help them look at their business on social media in a different light
Mhm.
rather than just the guru telling you that you need millions of views, because I don't think that you do. So,
Good to know.
what does um what does classically trained chef mean? And what do you have to do to become classically trained?
I I think classically trained means to master just like French culinary traditional techniques. I mean, that's what
The textbook
yeah, that's what the textbook says. So usually, if you refer to someone as classically trained, it's because they went to school, and that school, the way or their program is based on the traditional French techniques.
Okay.
So you've learned this brigade system and of Escoffier and all this classic terms,
Mhm.
because that's in reality where the 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 craft that we see, or the art, whatever you think. I think it's a craft, but um, that's a different podcast.
The art or the craft.
The art world. Uh, that's what that's what they say it is, right? Well, uh, anyways, for a person that's been in this industry for 15 plus years, uh, it I don't like for if you say classically trained, okay, that's what it means. Do you want your cooks to be classically trained? I mean, not necessarily. That going to school, it I mean, sometimes it's good for you, but if you're not a school person, go work at a restaurant and then you'll get that training at the restaurant,
Right.
hands on. So,
Do you think that
yeah.
that's more
I don't know
important?
if your question was
Well,
going that way or we just
no,
want a
that's
textbook answer, but
that's
I,
kind of
I
the key is like what is the more important aspect, do you think? Is it the 'cause I think that our culture today puts so much emphasis on the education, and it's my opinion that it's actually the individual that is gonna lead to the success, not the education.
if you asked me, would you, if you knew then what I know now, would you go to school? My answer would be yes. Because I got a lot from that program. Me
Okay.
personally.
Yeah.
Everybody got a lot from the program? I don't know. I
Well, you went to CIA,
I
so
don't think so.
CIA is like
But even
one
CIA, like it's
one of
probably
the
the
best.
top culinary schools in the world, I want to say.
Yeah.
If not the top. A lot of huge names came from that school. Um, I mean, I can mention Anthony Bourdain that everybody knows
Yeah.
graduated from CIA. So would I go back? Yeah, 100% I would go to school. But there's some people that they cannot go to school. They need to work, and I mean, they can't go to CIA. So it's not that doesn't mean if you don't go to school and are classically trained, that doesn't mean you're not going to be successful.
Right.
I know people that are amazing chefs that didn't go to school, period, and they're amazing chefs. I mean,
Right.
those guys do things that I cannot do. Um, so yeah, I wouldn't say you have to go to school. If you're a doctor, please go to school.
I would agree. I would agree.
Please,
Well, too,
I don't want you to cut me out, but
I guess I should say surgeon.
but yeah, exactly. Please go to school. But yeah,
Surgeons.
as a
You
chef,
guys are still practicing,
yeah,
by the way.
yeah.
There's a reason why it's called a practice.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. And you go work at a restaurant, and I would say choose the restaurant that you're gonna work, or better selection of where you want your training to start,
So like
or
Whataburger
to
is not the place
yeah,
to go.
no, come on, no, no, no. You can if that's what you want, probably that's the place to go if you want to have a lot of water burgers.
Yeah.
So I had a friend that went to Chipotle,
Mm.
and I mean, I think he has a very good position now. And I'm like, why would you went to culinary school and now you're working at Chipotle? Like you could be working at a little bit more creative place menu wise, right?
Right. Right.
But that's what he wanted, and he's successful, and it was a good decision for
For
that
him.
friend,
Yeah.
for him.
Yeah.
In my scenario, I mean, what you went to culinary school and now you have a breakfast place. Well, yeah, that was my path to success,
Right.
So
Right.
you can't really judge what you end up doing with your career, but definitely select the place that you want to get your experience, and then just be careful with that selection, I wanna say.
Yeah.
Then you'll be trained as a classically, trained chef there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I think
hopefully.
too that it's not necessarily um I I still think at the same we're saying the same thing a little bit differently because I think your education makes you think that you have a little bit more aptitude to do it, but I think on the opposite end that no matter what, you were going to be successful either way, whether it was classically trained at CIA or working at, a Michelin restaurant for 5 years, getting your training there. I think no matter what, I think you would have been successful one way or the other because I think it has to do with the individual, not necessarily the the way that the training came.
No, I totally agree with that. The individual, it's the most important aspect of one's success. Doesn't matter what you do.
Right.
Uh, and you see you see that a lot, that people that are studying this and then they have a master in this and now they have doctorate in this, and they struggle so much.
Yeah. But also at the same time, maybe it's just a matter of the the education allowed them to believe in themselves. So like I know like I worked for University of Phoenix and my struggle and Grand Canyon University, my struggle selling an education was like when I was having conversations with people, I'd be like, "So what are you going to do with this?" And they would be like, "Well, I'm going to be a pastor." And I was like, "Well, what are you doing now?" And they're like, "Well, I'm already a pastor." So then how is this going to help you? Is it going to bring you more money? And they'd be like, "No, my church isn't going to pay me."
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, "Then why are you going to go into $40,000 or more
Mm-hmm.
of student debt to get a degree in something that you're already doing?" Like, you're already at the level of success
Mm-hmm.
that you're at your max. So like why go further? Um and a lot of it I think was just for the financial aid aspect of life. Because that's what those for-profit universities really kind of pushed was like, we'll just give you financial aid. And a lot of people don't think about the debt that they're taking on. Um but a lot of times I think and maybe I'm reframing the way that I think about this, but maybe the diploma or the education gives the individual the self-respect that they can do it, rather than just going, oh, it's a piece of paper, which is the way that I've thought about it for a long time. Like, I have a degree, I have half of my master's, and I don't use it at all, and I don't think that I use it, but maybe it just, what I got out of it, I got all that I needed, and that gave me the confidence to try new things.
I think it's a confidence. So some people don't have too much confidence.
Yeah.
And maybe a piece of paper gives them that confidence.
See, I think you already had the
Maybe-
confidence.
yeah.
So you were like, I can make food.
I have the confidence. I just enjoy my time at CIA.
CIA is
Well, it's cool. Yeah, no, that's why I say, like, if I would go back in time, I'll do it again because I think it was a great experience. But it wasn't because of the certificate or the diploma or anything like that. It was just to, experience it.
the game.
And being in New York is such a good experience too.
Never-
I like that better than, I mean, if you say CIA was in the middle of nowhere, which it kind of is, but it's an hour away from the city at least. Having New York City as your back playground or backyard, well, it's the best experience. I mean, it is a jungle. I'm from Mexico City. I grew up in Mexico City, and it is very similar in a way of it is run as a big city. I think there's like 17 million people going through Manhattan in a day. I think that there's like, I don't know, 9 million, I don't know, living in the city. I don't know the number now, but it was 7 million at the time. And it's a lot. Like Mexico City, it's 20 million. So just being able to be on a young in your 20s and have that as your community and see people come and go, that is probably one of the best experiences you can have as a 20-year-old.
Right.
Because that's what the real world is. You come to Phoenix, and I mean, this is so calm compared to it, and we're only a fraction of the amount of people,
Right.
and we don't have traffic. There's no chaos in reality. I mean, this is a very simple
Well,
life.
I think we have.
Yeah,
I think we.
I mean, yeah,
I
of
think we
course,
have
yeah, and a lot of people think it, and probably I'm wrong, but just experiencing the city is I would highly recommend it. I have a son, and if I could say, hey, when you're in your 20s, please go over there and study for a year and experience life in the city. I don't know how it's going to be in 17 years when that happens, but I would just recommend it to anyone. Go live in a big city. Go to LA or go to
Well, see, I thought
somewhere.
I lived in a big
Yeah.
city.
Nothing.
I grew up in the suburbs.
But you get to appreciate a smaller city like this, even though it's one of the fastest growing cities. It's not going to be small anymore. But you get to appreciate things. You get to experience things. I don't know. Just having people from all over the world. New York has people from all over the world.
Yeah.
Mexico City is a little different. There's people from all over the world, but not as many.
Yeah,
Usually circles are very close. So if you have friends that you met when you were 2 years old, you're still going to meet with those friends.
Right.
So you don't see people from all over the place a lot. But New York, you do. New York, it's from everywhere.
It's like I don't even know. And so I've only seen it in.
You have to go. It's better than the movies.
Well, I just to talk about like a big city. I don't know if you've ever been, but I just read that it's cheaper to go to fly to Tokyo, go to Disneyland in Tokyo, stay at a hotel on Disney property, than it is to and go to the parks and then go to Disney World in Florida. And I was like, oh, I wonder how much it costs. Still, like, we have a family of 6, so it would still be like $8,000 for us to fly there, which I think is a relative cost to getting to another country. But their cost to get in their parks is like $40.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, my daughter wants to go to Japan.
Mm-hmm.
She says it's her favorite place.
Yeah,
She's
everybody's
never
going
been.
right now because it's not as expensive as it
Right.
used to be.
Yeah.
So my neighbors just went with the whole family and they had the best time of their lives. So it is true. What you read is true. I had never been. I would love to go.
Yeah. I
That's in
really
a
would
bucket
like.
list for
Yeah.
sure.
It would be a lot of fun, but like that's that's big city, right?
Mm-hmm.
That'd be pretty big.
Huge, but very organized.
I'm just curious.
They take
Yeah.
organization very seriously.
Love it there.
Cleanliness,
Love it.
respect. I would move there. They won't accept me probably, but I would move there for sure, 100%.
So, what's your biggest struggle as a business owner?
I mean, in general, things you can control, uh, costs. Um, maybe a customer that doesn't care about uh quality or yeah, maybe that they don't understand why our steak is $9 for 4 ounces and they think it's too expensive and they don't care to know if it's a good quality or a bad quality. For them it's steak is a steak. That's probably the biggest challenge.
Well, then they're not a foodie and they're not well.
Yeah, but exactly. But do you think everybody's a foodie out there? I don't think so. And do I want uh all the customers? Yeah, sure. I want everybody to walk through the door. So yeah, sometimes communicating who we are, our menu, what ingredients we use, why we think or find the value on our menu items and communicate that.
Mhm.
I think that's the hardest struggle. Uh, Downtown Phoenix, uptown Phoenix area, it's a very foodie community, I want to say, and it's a very strong community. It, they've been here a long time. They've seen the change of uptown, the change of downtown,
Yeah.
how it improved, how it is. There's more quality restaurants. So if you were to ask to someone in the valley, where's the place to go and have food, it would be Central,
Right.
the central
That
area, the
central
Biltmore,
corridor, yeah.
the central corridor. Um, so it's become easier as the years go by and as people uh, see different concepts and appreciate different concepts. But at the beginning was harder to
Yeah.
communicate that. And then yeah, just things you can control. Employees for us, we didn't really had an issue. Probably year one was hard. I want to say year two was a little bit better. And then after that, we got a very strong team, and some people's been with us for 8 years.
Yeah.
Most of my kitchen, few in the front of the house. So we only see a little bit of turnover but when they come in, we make sure they're the right fit, and they make sure we're the right fit for them too, which a lot of restaurants don't do that. I feel like you have to be happy when coming to work for us.
Right.
I'm here not every day, but most of the days, or at
Right.
least for a short period of time. So you'll see my face every day. So if you don't like me, you probably is not going to be happy working at Fame because
Right.
Fame has a lot of my personality and a lot of my wife's personality in it. So we have to be the right fit. And with that being said, uh, when we hire, we make sure that happens and we give them the opportunity to know us.
Right.
And it's not like you're hired, you have to do this and this goes like this,
Right.
this. No, let's get to know each other and make sure this position, this job for the time being is the right job for you and that you're the right fit for Famin too. So you see that, and I mean it's hard to find people that is the right fit,
Yeah.
but I think we are very lucky lately on things, knock on wood, things stay that way. And yeah, I think the only struggle would be the ones that I mentioned, and um, that's it. Yeah, the world is crazy right now in terms of financing and inflation and
Oh yeah.
politics and wars, etc. No, we can name them all.
Yeah, we
We're
can
not we're not gonna get into those details. But there's always waves, right? On good or bad, and hopefully the bad is it's about to be over. Hopefully,
I hope
one of these years.
someday.
Yeah.
Well, that's I think too it's hard to identify like the good and the bad and know that there can be good that comes from any of this. Like the I would probably guess that the big struggles that you've had have led you to learning the most in those situations. So, if you overcook a steak and somebody complains about it, you know what to look the signs for how to not do that. Um, for me, it's like, figuring out all of this stuff. There have been so many hurdles along the way. Keep in mind, I didn't know how to pull a trailer when I bought this trailer. Like, I was driving this trailer home for the first time, and I was like, I've never done this before. And like parking the trailer, like there've
Oh,
been
that's
there've
pretty
been
hard.
yeah, there have been so many different things that that have put me in a place where I'm like, do I keep going? And it's like, no, because all of these things eventually are gonna be lessons. Like today, I showed up here and got the generator out, put it at the front of my truck, and I opened up my door to grab my backpack, and it's not there.
Hmm.
I left my house without my backpack. So I put the generator back in its box because I wasn't going to leave the, expensive generator sitting on the side of the road for a few moments. And I drove myself home, even though I was mad about it. It was just like,
Okay.
okay, lesson learned, checklist. That's kind of the biggest piece of this puzzle is like you have to be okay. You have to be a little bit delusional to be okay with failing a lot because our education system really teaches failure as like this end all be all
Hmm.
kind of thing. So like even like so we homeschool our kids, but even though our kids are homeschooled, when they get a bad grade or they don't do well on say math, my son still loses his mind. And I'm like, just because just because you failed at the problem, that's not the end all be all. Like figure out how the problem like why did you not get that problem right? Figure that out and then just commit it to memory
Hmm.
as don't do that again or, you know, study harder, learn, commit more to memory that makes you go, okay, I know that math problem. I've seen something similar. And then you just move about it that way. Like our education system teaches that failure is like the final and like how many times in your business have you failed?
Thousands of times, not
And
hundreds. I want to say thousands.
right. And
Yeah, every day probably you make the wrong decision and then you learn from it. I mean, hopefully you get better at it,
right.
and you're not failing less, but not making the same mistake. But failing is it's a bad word. It's not a bad word. It's just misinterpreted a lot, I
Yeah,
think.
I think that our culture is and maybe it's by design,
Probably.
so that way, like, people don't take the risks that they should. Because, like, I really feel like we're limiting ourselves in a lot of ways. Um, that's, like, kind of, an ulterior motive of why I'm doing what I'm doing is because, like, I've limited myself to a certain demographic of content, and I feel like that demographic that demographic of content is good,
Mm.
but, like, I need to push myself a little bit further, and I feel like I have more to offer, and instead of, um, just offering it to a few, I wanna offer it to as many as I can,
Mm-hmm.
um, in various ways, like, the conversation that we're gonna have here, or what we've been having, is, like, a way for me to establish an even better relationship than what we already have, but also, at the same time, like, how can I provide value to you in, questions that you may have in regards to my expertise? Um, and then through that, I'll be able to put it on the internet and share it with other people that may have similar questions. Or somebody that may want to run a restaurant will come upon our conversation and be like, wow, Yvonne's rad. I need to learn, I need to listen to this and see what he has to say. And we're providing value in all
I
different
hope they
directions.
say that I'm rad.
You are rad.
That's pretty cool.
But
But
if
if
you
not,
say
it's
that,
okay.
if you
Feel
say
good.
otherwise, then you're wrong.
I can't please everyone.
He's got New Balance on, guys. He's rad. Okay. Um, so I asked you while we were having our little technical difficulty, um, what's what is a task or a something that you have to do that you've had to do while owning Fame that you just never expected to, need to do earlier?
So today, no, you were gonna
Yeah,
say.
you go for it.
Okay.
You tell the story.
Okay. So earlier, when we met and you had to go back home, I said, okay, cool, because I need to go on the roof and repair our sign because I needed to paint a few details up there. So those are things that, I mean, never crossed my mind that I would end up doing. I said another example that we had a leak not too long ago, and my hotline had literally water and dripping from the ceiling into hot pans with oil. I mean, it's a worst combination. And
Can't do it.
no, you can't do it. You just can't operate that way. And yeah, those are the type of struggles when owning a restaurant. Because I had a few leaks, and those are not fun. So I went onto the roof and I look at the HVAC system. Finally, I find out like where the leak was coming from. I think that was, yeah, 2 or 3 days later. Um, and the tech couldn't come because they were so busy they
Right.
could not just show up. It's like, I'll be there in 5 days. I'm like, I need you now, not in 5 days. So, anyways, I went up there and then it was just a clog pipe. So we unclogged it and that was it. And it's so simple, but I mean, things that you have
Well, and imagine
no idea. I mean, you can't be
what
an
would the
expert.
cost be for having somebody come out and unclog that? What do you think the
Oh,
cost would have been?
$500 to $1,000 while they
Yeah.
figure out the problem.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're saving thousands of dollars if you know how to fix a piece of equipment.
I'll just call
So
you.
yeah, no, call me. I know I have a few in under my on my book that I can repair. Yeah, refrigerator units that you know where the problem is. So the other day the refrigeration, one low boy at the line wasn't working. And I'm like, and it happens on a Saturday or a Sunday where you
When you're
have
most busy.
200 people and coming through the door and there's a line out the door, and that's exactly when it happens right there at that moment. It cannot happen today where
Right.
it's a
Right.
Tuesday, slow Tuesday.
Right.
Um, so I'm like, oh, now what? And it was an easy fix, but yeah, did I know that I needed to do that?
Right.
being a restaurant owner.
No.
Hell no. I thought there was a guy just waiting for my call. Like,
Right.
oh, can you
Yeah, that would be
fix
like
my unit and
right away.
just charge me $100 for it? No, every time we make a phone call, it's expensive. It's minimum $500. So
Right.
the 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 more you know how to fix those things, and especially if it's a simple fix, you better do it
Right.
yourself. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well,
Teach your crew how to do it.
yeah. Yeah. It's interesting because um just running a business is a struggle, and then having kids is a struggle. Um like how much would you say um like what does it take to get you really flustered? Because I've known you for, I would say, about 10 years.
Yeah, almost 10 years since I started.
Like I've always seen you pretty like low key, even keel. Um, you're just kind of rolling with the punches kind of thing. Um, what gets you what gets you really mad?
So I think there's only one thing in reality, because I can deal with a lot of things. I can deal with pressure, and if my box of eggs arrived all smashed up and broken, we'll just go and fix it and deal with it. And if the milk is rotten,
Right.
whatever, you go and figure things out. If there's a leak on the roof, to figure it out.
Right.
As a business owner, you have to fix things fast. I think you can't
Yeah.
get frustrated, because then you're not a very good business owner. You have to, if there's a problem, you got to fix it
Right.
and then move and keep moving forward, because then another problem we're gonna come. Like I mean,
It's inevitable.
that's inevitable. Something will break. I
Yeah.
know it's something. Hopefully, it's not soon, but
Yeah.
something will break.
Something will break.
I think the only thing that in these years, at least only in the restaurant, but it also applies to my personal life, uh, disrespect would be the only thing that it pushed that button of, okay, alert.
Yeah.
He's not he's he's gonna explode. Go away, go away. No, it's just I think if there's respect, everything can happen. If there's disrespect, then everything just
Kind of crumbles.
kind of crumbles and
Yep.
ends right there at that moment. So that's one of the things we were talking about, employees and our team. Um, and I think that's one of the first things or sentences we use. Just respect each other, respect your guests, respect the food,
Mm-hmm.
respect the place, respect you. Just respect makes everything.
Yep.
So if there's disrespect, yeah, you're gonna have a problem with me
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah, totally.
Maybe that's why we get along.
Yeah, we get along because there's usually a lot of mutual respect, and um, yeah, I try to, even if I don't agree with something, and we were talking about this earlier, that you don't need to agree with everything.
Right.
I mean, you have your culture, your ways, your education, et cetera, et cetera. And not because you're disagreeing, that means you're going to be disrespectful, but not because you have an opinion, you have to disrespect someone.
Right.
It's just your opinion on things and how you see life.
Yeah.
And that needs to be respected, and then we can have a good community,
Exactly.
a good world.
Exactly. Now this is the last question of the day. Um, where do you guys see yourself struggling on social media, and do you have any questions um that I can provide, expert advice on? Where do you see yourself struggling on social media?
Well, as I was reading this question, I thought, uh, sometimes it's a personality thing that I don't think I have the personality to be out there as much. There's
Mm-hmm.
people that it's so easy for them to turn on the camera or take a picture or publish or be very open in their personal lives. um, business, whatever it is.
Right.
Like my brother, for example, he's an artist in Mexico City, and he's always his Instagram. It's open. You can see it, and he posts a lot of things, but he makes business out of that.
Right.
But he also shares some personal life that everybody can see, and so it's a personality thing. Like some people are that way, and some people, even though they're the same blood,
Right.
are different.
Right.
So, like for me and my wife, we're a little bit more. I don't want to say shy because you know us, we're not shy at all.
Correct.
I mean, we see hundreds of people in the restaurant every single day,
Right.
and but social media is a different thing. So it's not like we struggle, but then maybe we we just don't have the personality to be out there as much. And that doesn't necessarily means that you shouldn't be out there. I think you should as a business owner,
Right.
especially owning a restaurant. So what I think about like this, and that's why I say yes, and I was very interested when you show me your concept and what you were
Mhm.
doing, especially because it's you. Um, it's a good platform for us, the guys that are not recording ourselves and
Right.
saying, "Hey, we do this. This is Fame. This is blah blah blah,"
Right.
and all the time, because we get invitations. Like they invite us to go to uh, uh, TV shows and everything, and some people go like, "Are you stupid or something? Like you should go."
I think he
I
should.
don't know if I should say that. Whatever, I just said it, but they. I'm like, I mean, I don't feel like just being there and
Right.
preparing for that. We've done it before and it was great, and it is good because people see you, but sometimes you just don't want to because it's not who you are or what you want to communicate.
Right.
This felt more natural,
Yep.
as I mean, as it is. It felt more organic, and well, I mean, we're friends, so it's easier to talk to you
Correct.
than someone that I don't know, and they're just following a script,
Right.
and that becomes it's different. But I think the struggle is to get out there and to communicate and to be uh, open about your product. And but I guess there's so many platforms that you have to choose which platform you like. Like
Yep.
maybe I like this,
Yep.
and we can keep. And maybe I use your service, and we can do it, you know.
Yeah.
And maybe we can do this conversation once a month, and communicate what I want to communicate,
Right.
and hopefully people use it or find it useful or find it at least entertaining
Well,
or
I
something.
think one of the things that, because I going into this, I've thought about like, all right, what kind of advice would I give you? And because I think you and Maria are so like personable and cool, and I understand where you're like, oh, I don't really want to put myself, like I just don't feel like it
Mhm.
often. Um, I would say that putting yourself on social. And I think most people it's Instagram, few people it's YouTube. There's, billions of people that use YouTube, but a lot of people don't think of it as a social platform. Um, but Instagram is where a lot of people just naturally gravitate to, or Facebook. Um, and really like because your guys' personality is so just calm and cool and you're easy to get along with.
Well, thank you
I
for that.
I feel like people would gravitate towards your personality and understand the concept even more. Because I know that you guys share photos of the food and
Mhm.
the restaurant and the vibe and all of that stuff, but like sharing like you guys, like who you are, and it doesn't necessarily need to be, sharing employee
Mhm.
stuff, but like sharing the personality that you and Maria have would be a really wise decision because like this, it becomes an interpersonal communication. It becomes a relationship that you're having with many people, and that opens up the door to be able to understand who you guys are before somebody even enters a restaurant. Like one of my clients that I've had for the last 6 years built custom homes. And people message him all the time, I can't wait until you can build my custom.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're not at a place where they can spend millions of dollars on a custom home yet. But they know because he shows up and his personality is on all of the time, and you choose wisely how much you share.
Mm-hmm.
But he shows up and people know him and they don't even need to like make a decision on signing a contract with him beforehand because they've already made that decision years before because they've seen him show up so many times. So it's just like kind of what I would say is showing up personally on a personal level would give you a little edge and it would separate you from other restaurants in the area that they have the concept and they have the vibe of the restaurant itself, but like there's no personality behind any of anything that you see when you don't involve like the person who is heavily involved in it. Like, the Henry up here, just, a block away basically. You don't know that it was a Fox restaurant concept. Most people don't know Sam. If you did, you'd know that he's very pointed and very, very planned. But you wouldn't know that that's the restaurant. But the thing is that Fox Restaurant Concepts is a bigger entity than Fàme and what you guys do. So if I was to give you like my expertise, and mainly I think maybe it's just selfishly I'd like to see you on social more because I think that your personality could help the brand grow even more, and it would allow people to know who you guys are before they even step in the restaurant. And I think that that's valuable. So,
Well, we can try it a couple of times. We'll see how it goes.
Okay. So here's the deal. You can't try it just a couple times. You got to do it, commit to it for a year.
Yeah.
And be like, and here's the thing. A lot of people also, we've talked about this, and maybe this will be another conversation because I know we need to wrap, but like, we don't need to go viral. We just need to be consistent. And the cool thing is that you can choose your consistency. You don't have to post something every day that has you talking to the camera. It doesn't have to be, anything crazy. It could be once a week. But then that actually creates kind of like this, because social media is interest-based now. So everything that you show interest in, it's just going to feed that algorithm to you. But you don't need to show up, like create a desire for it. It's like an episode. When we were kids and Boy Meets World was only on Friday nights at 9:00, what were you doing? At 8:55, you were getting ready to watch Boy Meets World. So like that's what we need to create, is this like episodic kind of, it doesn't have to be an episodic story, but like people grow to expect on Tuesdays at 9 a.m. that Yvonne is going to show up and he's going to tell you what's going on in the restaurant this week. Or, what's the market like? Oh, you know what? We had a hard time sourcing the steak this week. It just wasn't good enough. We care about what you guys, are coming here to get. So, our chilaquiles is going to be a little, it's not going to be as, we can't serve it this week, like whatever the case may be.
Yeah, we can find an interesting topic.
It allows people to go, oh, wow, they care even more than I thought, because we already know that you care, but it just adds that extra layer, and then that just drives more personal connection, which people like. So
cool.
Well, dude, thanks.
We'll work on it.
Yeah,
okay. Thanks for the advice.
I fully expect you.
Yeah, no, thanks for the space, and this was fun.
Yeah, man.
Thank you for the invitation. We appreciate it.
Well, thanks for being the first real podcast. Even though there's going to be a podcast that comes out It's probably gonna be already out before we drop this one, but this is the first one where prior to me showing you this space the other day, you know, you weren't a part of me building this out. This is completely brand new concept.
Well, it's a good looking trailer, that's for sure.
Hey, I just bought a black trailer and
You did a good job.
it has an AC.
You did a
on
good
it.
job. No, it looks pretty cool.
Awesome, man.
Like it.
Thanks for joining me,
Thank you.
and I appreciate you.
Thank you for your time.
Yeah.